Welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to estimate with number tools, specifically when buying produce when the numbers are small. Our problem today is 1.73 pounds of apples at $2.49 a pound. Now that's about 1 3/4 pounds, and that's about $2.50. So those are the numbers we're going to use today. So to start off, I know that because it says 1 3/4, I can use a fraction bar. I'm going to break it up into quarters. And now I have to take that $2.50 and break it up into 4 parts. Now because I'm doing this without a calculator, that's not all that easy to do unless I break it up piece by piece. So $2.50. Well, I know if I do a quarter in each one, that uses up $1. If I put another quarter in each one, that uses up another $1, so now I'm at $2. I only have 50 cents left, so I can't do quarters again, but I can put a dime in each one. Which is going to put me at $2.40. So I have about 10 cents left, so I can do a penny and another penny in each one. So 2 pennies in each one. Puts it at $2.48. So I have 2 extra cents left over, 2 pennies. Now, when you're dealing with numbers this small, having a couple extra pennies here and there really doesn't make a huge difference, especially since we're estimating. So it's okay if those pennies kind of disappear. So right now, what we have 2 quarters, a dime, and 2 pennies in each one. So it's going to be 62 cents. Now, if you don't like writing letters, you could have just written 0.25 and 0.1 and 0.01, and it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been just fine. It's whatever's easier for you. Okay, so at this point, I see that I have my fraction bar, and I have 4 sections. Each one has 62 cents. Now, because I'm dealing with 1 3/4, that means I'm going to need 3 of them. So I have my 1 pound, which is $2.50. Then I have 3 groups of 62 cents. I add that up, and I end up getting $4.36. So that's the total that I'm going to need to pay about for my apples. Now, let's suppose I did this a different way. Another strategy you can use is to do a double number line. So the first thing you're going to need to do is draw your number line. Starting at 0. Now because I'm going to 1 3/4, I'm going to go from 0 to 2 with 1 in the middle. I'm going to fill in the information that I know. I know that if I buy 0 pounds of apples, I'm going to pay $0. I'm not going to pay something if I'm not getting anything. I know that if I buy 1 pound of apples, that's going to be $2.50. I don't really need to write the 2 because I'm not actually going to buy 2. But I can go ahead and fill it in anyway because it's easy. It's only $5. Now, at this point, I know I need to get to 1 3/4. So it helps to know what 3/4 is. But I can't do that easily either. So I'm going to do a half first. Half a pound of apples, I'm going to pay half the amount. So half of $2.50 is $1.25. Okay, well I need 3/4. Well, that's in between a half and 1. But I don't know that. So I'm going to find out what a quarter is first, because I know that a quarter and a half together will get me 3/4. So half of $1.25. Well, if I do 62 cents and 62 cents, that's $1.24. If I do 62 cents and if I do 63 cents and 63 cents, that's $1.26. Either way, it's not exactly $1.25. So we're just going to stick with the 62 cents for now. Again, when you're dealing with small numbers, a penny here or there isn't going to make a difference. So I now know that a quarter of a pound is 62 cents, a half of a pound is $1.25. put those together, you know that 3/4 of a pound is going to be $1.87. We're getting really close. We know what 3/4 is now, and we already know 1. So if I want to know 1 3/4, which is almost a 2, I just put those two numbers together. Now I want my double number line to look nice, so I'm going to draw my line for 1 1/2, even though I don't need it, and then use that to figure out where my 1 3/4 line is going to go. So 1 3/4 is going to be my $2.50 that I have here and my $1.87 that I have here, which ends up being a total of $4.37. Now if you notice, that's off by a penny from what we got earlier. With our other method, we got $4.36. But that's okay, because again, we're dealing with numbers that are really small, so we're going to have a couple pennies extra or gone here or there, and it really doesn't make a huge difference. And again, we're estimating. You're not going to walk up to the cash register with $4.37 exactly. That would be silly. Now, going along with the strategy is also the ratio table method, which is very, very similar, but it doesn't have to look as neat and organized. You don't have to go in a specific order. So, I'm dealing with two different types of units. I'm dealing with money, and I'm dealing with pounds. It doesn't matter which one you put on top as long as you're consistent. So I know that 1 pound is going to cost $2.50. If I cut that in half, which is dividing by 2, that's going to be $1.25. Cut that in half again. I'm going to get 62 cents. Now, when you're adding, the way to do this is to add columns. So I want to add the half column and the quarter column together. So that's going to give me my 3/4 column. When I put those together, I get the same thing I got last time, which is the $1.87. I also very easily could have done quarter times 3. Now that's not what I did, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it, but I could have done the same. I could have done that in that case, and it would have been very close. Okay, now at this point we still don't have our answer because we need we need 1 3/4. So I need the 1 column and the 3/4 column. Put those together, that's my 1 3/4, which is again going to be $4.37. So as you can see, you can do a fraction bar, you can use a double number line, you can even use a ratio table. And you'll get pretty much the same answer each time, as long as you're estimating and you're pretty careful with how you set things up. Good luck in the future.